Hello there, and welcome back to another roam where we're going up Pendle today. Started off in Barley, we're going past the reservoirs and on to Pendle Hill. And I say we because I'm joined with Rebecca once again on the last one as well. Yeah, I think today's topic, I think really it should probably be motivation, because something that a lot of people struggle with. I do, I'm guilty of that. Although I don't think guilty is the right word. But yeah, so I think we'll talk a bit about what motivates us, what we can use as motivation, and yeah, how that, you know, sort of is something that has to be worked on just as well as fitness, because that's what gets you fitter, is motivation. So let's carry on with this walk. I'll come back to you. So, motivation. Now I've motivated myself to get up that little bit of a steep incline. Yeah, sometimes we all run a bit low on it, and I must admit I've been running low on it for quite a bit now. But I think you've got to train yourself to, even when you're not motivated, just do it. And if you're struggling, even just doing it, well, it's all about finding those ways. For me, motivation comes in the form of probably watching other people do things, and I think that's what a lot of people get motivated by. But what do you do when no one's there doing what you want to do, but you're not motivated to do it? Well, then you've got to be that person. So I'm sure these big gurus, these famous people all over the interwebs, you know, on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. I'm not saying I'm a motivating person, I'm certainly not. There's better people to be motivated by than me, but we all have our go-tos. When I was younger, I always loved Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was the man, wasn't he? Still is, really. Cool guy. But yeah, everyone wanted to be that big, muscular hero. And now I probably look to certainly different people now. I look more towards, like, not everyday people, because they're certainly not, but the SAS guys, people like Ollie Ollerton, Jason Fox and Ant Middleton, you know, real tough guys and good people to look up to, really. That's who I sort of use as a bit of motivation sometimes. And there's other people who motivate me, not necessarily strong athletic people, but people who've gone through struggles, you know, or people who aren't necessarily going through struggles but just do what they love doing, and that's quite motivating, really. Seeing other people achieve what they want to achieve, it's pretty good fun. How about you? Who do you find motivating?
I don't know if I have specific people.
Okay, this is what it's about though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think in the past when I was younger, I definitely, like, when I was getting into fitness, I looked at people in fitness that inspired me.
Yeah.
And that would motivate me, like watching videos and stuff of them training, it'd make me want to train.
Fair enough, yeah.
But nowadays, if I'm not motivated, I kind of envision what it'll feel like to achieve the thing that I want to feel. So if I know I'm going to feel really good if I kind of get up that morning and I don't know, I've got to check emails or like organise paperwork before I do something that I want to do, I think I'll feel great when that's done. And imagining how I'm going to feel, like, emotionally when that's done is what will get me to do it, because I've already kind of visualised it going well. So I use techniques like that to get me to do things nowadays.
Yeah.
Especially if, like, because I've had it in the past where I thought I don't even like, I might not even want to wash the pots or something. Yeah. And I think, like, your motivation's so low, and I think you've just got to imagine yourself doing the small task, and then once the small task is done, you realise that it was easier to get it done than you imagined. And then you've already got that little bit of kind of endorphins going, and then you want to do more things. So if I have something that's quite far out of reach as a goal, I bring the goal into something a lot smaller and a lot more manageable, and I make sure that that's the thing imagine doing first.
Yes, I mean that's makes a lot of sense, and that's probably actually a very good thing for motivation. And yeah, and there's me talking about people to look up to and all that kind of thing, and then you're, you know, showing that there's more things than just standards of other people to get you motivated, but it's about keeping yourself honest, I suppose.
Yeah, and sometimes looking at other people, you're not where they are mentally.
Yeah.
You might be somewhere else. So I think you need to start where you are and move from a manageable point from where you are currently, not trying to move to where somebody else is when you're not in that same place that they are. So I try not nowadays to look at somebody else unless I'm looking at them for like ideas and inspiration. If I'm trying to pursue a goal of my own, I think, where am I right now and what can I do to get a little bit closer to that goal? And if I'm struggling getting there, I prioritise the smaller step first by envisioning it getting done and how I'm going to feel, and usually just thinking that once that gets done I'm going to feel great and I can go out and do what I want that day is usually what gets me to do it.
That's really good.
So
Yeah,
that would be,
to be fair, that's
motivation.
pretty good advice, and you know, I'll probably take quite a bit of that on board.
Yeah. And I think as well, people struggle more with the emotional step forward rather than the physical step forward.
Yeah.
So that's why such a small task can literally send you into like a spin where you think, oh, this is going to be like, I've got to fill out this form today, I don't want to do it, and you end up doing other stuff and putting it off. I think being able to change your emotional state makes the physical cog turn.
Yeah.
Rather than the other way around. Most people attempt to physically do something, like they drag their body into doing it whilst their emotional side is kicking and screaming. But if you can reason with the emotional side and change the way you feel about it emotionally, usually that's when the physical side just like
comes
does
with
it easily. Yeah. And the more I find you do that with smaller tasks, those tasks become easier to achieve.
Yeah.
And then you're already at the bigger goal that you wanted to without even realising it.
Yeah, you know what, I agree with that, because there's a lot of times where I've been at home and there is the dishes to do.
Yeah, and it's not
there is stuff like that and it's not getting done.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, like you get to that point where I have to do it.
Yeah.
And you start doing it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it goes from doing the dishes to then, oh, I'll do a wash load.
Yeah.
And then the wash load is, oh, I'll do some hoovering.
Yeah, and now you've
and then all of a sudden you clean the whole house, and you weren't motivated at all to do it, but it's that first step.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, and you know, it is right.
You do. It's not like motivation comes and it sticks, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the things sometimes online, when you see people that look like they're achieving constantly,
it can be a little bit demotivating.
Yeah.
Can't it?
You think, well, they got it and it didn't go.
Yeah.
But I think we just don't show the fact that you can be really successful and still find it hard to motivate yourself. But it's because you've got to continuously find a process that works for you and get you into that flow of
Which I
achieving
suppose
things.
I may as well add on to this motivation then and talk about discipline.
Yeah.
Because
that's the discipline part, is repeating the steps.
You need both to make it work.
Yeah. Of
course, yeah.
So you find your own little way of achieving the smaller goals and motivating yourself to do them.
Yeah.
But then the next step is doing that repeatedly with all your little steps, and that would be what you would describe as discipline.
Exactly. So, discipline. Discipline is a difficult one because it is something learnt, not sort of given to you. And unless you're constantly striving to better yourself, you know, it's a hard thing to keep, really. You know, whether it's in your diet, in your fitness or whatever. It's like today, for example, I could have told Rebecca, can't do the walk tonight, I've hurt my back, you know, and used it as an excuse, which my back is hurting, but the discipline's kicked in, I suppose, and that's why I'm here walking on Pendle Hill. So it comes in different forms. It comes in actions, it comes in thought processes, it comes in just repeating. And I think it's that repeating this one goal over and over again, and those one steps, if you will, the first steps. Keep repeating that, and that's your discipline really. And that is probably the harder one of the two. Motivation, literally you can scroll through Instagram, come across a reel, or YouTube and come across a video, and you'll get motivation for half an hour, and then it sort of slips away again. And motivation's good because it gives you that right now fix, but the discipline is where you sort of plant the seed. And to take something I was talking to Rebecca about a second ago, really plant the seed and grow those roots so it sticks with you. And yeah, that's something that I struggle with, discipline, I'm not gonna lie. But you've just got to keep pushing forward, just keep doing it. Like that famous shoe company, just do it, you know. There's not any other way around it apart from crack on. So yeah, discipline, it's a hard one to strive for, but once you've started something and you've been doing something long enough, it becomes second nature, and that discipline, then you can move it towards the next goal. Thank you, Fly. But yeah, I think we're going up here. I think I remember going through that fence gate down there or whatever. I remember turning around because I think I was like, oh, this is the route up here. I remember that anyway, I think. We'll find out, yeah. I mean, this is Pendle Hill is literally that way, so yeah. We'll get up here and then we'll start talking more about discipline. What sort of does discipline mean to you?
What does it mean to me?
Yeah, what sort of do you use?
I'm aware that with discipline, my goal will be achieved. Usually as well, discipline usually gets you a better outcome. Yeah. Especially in terms of diet and exercise. Yeah. And then I find discipline comes easier when you find a why. So why am I doing this? Yeah. Why am I going to choose this behaviour over an alternate behaviour? And usually it is the behaviour that you pick that you view as discipline usually brings you a better outcome, as in maybe it's money, you're disciplining yourself with your work, your job, your business. Yeah. So you know it's going to improve your finances, which will in turn improve your life, your family, the things you can do with them. It removes a lot of stress with bills and stuff. Maybe it's food and you're struggling but you're not feeling very well. Maybe the doctor's told you you've got diabetes or something. So your why you're doing it is to improve your health and to not have, say, diabetes or whatever. Yeah. And you know that discipline is going to improve you. So I think if you view it as a positive thing, a positive action, and you remind yourself of your why constantly, discipline comes easier. It's much harder to discipline yourself when you don't know why you're doing it. What you're doing it for, yeah. You might have decided you want to like walk this hill, but why are you doing it? Are you doing it because normally you sit in and watch TV every night? The why is it makes you feel like shit, you're not getting anywhere. So your why you're doing it is to improve your mood, improve your experiences, to do something new. And when you find your why and it has a positive outcome, usually that will help the behavioural change. Yeah. So if that roundabout answers the question, that would be my answer. Yeah, and I suppose taking it back to what you said about certain reasons for it, like, you know, say if you have got diabetes, that in a way is a reason, but it's also motivation to be disciplined. Yeah. So it all feeds into itself, and like your motivation, your discipline, like I suppose you can say it ebbs and flows between each other, and it complements each other. So one day you might not be feeling motivated, but your discipline kicks in, and you might not be feeling particularly disciplined one day, but you've got that motivation in the back of your head of why you've got to be disciplined. So yeah, it's two really positive things to have that isn't necessarily easy to come by.
and it just takes work, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it's always there, whether it's working for you or against you. It's not like people say, oh, I don't have it. Well, then you're demotivated. It's the opposite of motivation.
Yeah.
So it's not like people say, oh, I'm not a motivated person. You have it, but it's the opposite of what you want. So you're just changing the thing to make it what you want it to be, to achieve the goal.
Yeah.
And I think people sometimes say, yeah, but I'm not a disciplined person, or I'm not a motivated person. Yeah, but nobody is.
No.
It's either on or it's off, and you've got to be able to flip between how to make it turn on and off. Like, it's you that's in control.
Yeah.
It's not the fact that you just don't have something. We all have it. You've just got to figure out how to get it to work for you.
Yeah, and I suppose, like, sheep. Hello, sheep.
They're sheep.
I suppose, like, some of those things where you talk about demotivation, you know, a lot of those can be unkind words a lot of the time. You know, that can be quite demotivating. Like, say now on this video, I could have someone comment saying, you're talking absolute rubbish, talking out your arse, and that can be quite demotivating for making videos. But, you know, but at the same time, the discipline is to ignore that negativity and just try and take as much positive out. You know, I'm not saying ignore criticism, because
Utilize it.
yeah, you've got to utilise your criticism,
Yeah.
but don't let something someone said or say something that you feel like you might have failed in, don't let that demotivate you, don't let that demoralise you from achieving your goals, because I'm not saying I've not done it, I have, but you know, it's about picking yourself back up again, and cracking on. It's like my motivation, in a way, my reason for discipline is, you know, bloody hell, whew, I've got a little baby girl, and I don't want to be an unhealthy fat dad that doesn't do anything with her. I want to be that fun dad that goes to the park with her, or she comes climbing up mountains with me and doesn't whoop my arse every time, which I'm sure when she gets to a certain age, and I'll certainly be at a certain age then, you know, it'll be a lot harder for me to keep up with her. But if I don't make that change now, while I can, it becomes harder and harder the older I get. So yeah, it's
That's your why.
that's your why, that's your motivation.
And your actions also have an impact on the other people around you.
Yeah.
You're aware that if you show Pavey that it will influence her behaviour to do something that's deemed healthy and good for her life. And
Absolutely.
bond with her. So it works all around.
Yeah, and if, yeah, exactly. It's like anyone like Pavey who looks up to me can use what I'm doing in a way as motivation for themselves, because they've seen it can be done. And it's a bit of a vain, I don't want to use that as my motivation, because that's a bit of a vain motivation. I feel like it's a bit fake, because everyone wants to sort of be this image, you know, everyone wants to be like, oh, people look up to me or whatever. I don't want to be that. I want to be an example, but not a vision. Just I'm the regular guy who got it done, or tried to get it done, and this is what this is all about. So yeah, discipline. So Rebecca, we're nearly back at the car, and it's been a nice one apart from the fact there was no views and it was gale force wind.
Thoroughly enjoyable.
Thoroughly enjoyable otherwise. It's nice down here though, strangely. Yeah, we're in Barley now, which is it's a nice little village. Good pub as well, Pendle Inn. Nice place to get a spot of beer and food. But yeah, so yeah, motivation, discipline, you know, and putting it into context and how I deal with it, how Rebecca deals with it. Rebecca's much better than me at, you know, talking about it. I'm just a man, a stupid man, and she's got the smarts. So
I think you did a good job.
Yeah. She did a better job. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. This has been Ramblings of a Madman, motivation and discipline. It's been a nice one, and yeah, not going to be many nights now where I'm going to be able to go out walking. This one's not going to be around much longer anyway, so yeah, it's getting them walks in as well, especially before we get to Three Peaks, really, isn't it?
Yeah. How many weeks have we got?
2.
2.
Yeah, 2 this weekend.
Already?
So I think that discipline is really gonna.
That's gonna have to kick in, isn't it?
That's gonna have to kick in.
We're gonna have to eat our words.
Yeah.
That's a good test. There we go.
So there you go. There's the test of the discipline. Can we discipline ourselves through the torture of the Yorkshire Three Peaks? So we shall see. So on the next one, guys. Thank you very much.